If you moved to South Florida less than 3 years ago, living in rental and considering buying your first home, however, you still have a lot of questions and concerns about it, then this video is for you. Yes, for you. Turn the volume up and watch until the end. In this video, I will discuss most common misconceptions and mistakes first-time home buyers make. We will discuss neighborhoods and schools that you can buy your first home without breaking the bank. And at the end, I'll tell you the story, how my client made over $200,000 by buying the home right after he moved to Florida just 3 years ago, and how that led to huge success with his home ownership. So let's dive in. First of all, I wanted to talk to you about most common mistakes and most common misconceptions. First misconception that comes to my mind is that home buyers are supposed to put at least 20% down for condos. And for the most part, it was true for quite some time. And the reason for 20% down requirement for condos was around the reserves that condominium is supposed to have. With the new law that just recently turned into play, we see that more and more condominium are forced to collect reserves. That enters into much larger opportunities for buyers. And the more opportunities, the more choices. Buying a condo with 5% down, condos are very affordable these days. With this increased monthly payments for association because they need to build these reserves, condo prices, they are adjusting down, and I believe you can find and negotiate pretty good deal. Living in condo is convenient, especially with Hurricane Milton coming our way. You spend much less on the maintenance, on preparation. You rely on your association to take care of the building, to keep it safe and secure. And since we have this new law when the association is supposed to keep the structural integrity and keep the reserves, it is much safer than we saw a few years ago. Yes, it comes with the cost of HOA fees, but you pay for the convenience. Number two is that homes are unaffordable. And further in this video, we will discuss the neighborhoods where you can buy a home that is very affordable, and I'll show you the breakdown of the pricing. You can buy a home for under $400,000. You can make a purchase with as little as 3.5% down, and with all the assistance that we have, the Home Heroes program, where you can get $15,000 towards your down payment. You can ask the seller to pay some of your closing costs. This ownership comes very close to be free, so you will not pay more than it will cost you to move to the next rental, where you have to pay your first month, last month, and security. Instead, you can put this payment towards owning your home, and then first of all, you're going to start paying your own mortgage instead of paying your landlord's mortgage, because mortgage will be existing anyway, but the landlord will pay down, and your rent is 100% interest. You cannot tax deduct it. You cannot pay it off. You just pay it every month, and there is no room for you to decrease that number. Rent is always on the rise. So if you would pay $400,000 to buy a home, your monthly payment with average taxes and insurance for 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home will be under $3,000. If you would rent such a home, the payment would be $3,500 plus. Just consider that you pay that amount and you will not get any benefits. You will not get tax deduction. You will not pay your mortgage down. You cannot rent it. You cannot do anything about it except for just making these payments and just blow money away. Another common misconception is that we're in a housing bubble. And every time I meet with a first-time home buyer, every single year from 2011, I hear, we're in a housing bubble. We're waiting for the prices to drop. Well, I want to share something with you. Real estate always appreciates in price. And the only time that we saw significant drop in prices, it was in 2008, and it was the result of predatory loans and the fact that people were paying their loans and they owing more and more. Right now, the laws are in place where these predatory loans, they're illegal. And sellers, they sit in a pretty thick cushion of equity, so they have no reason for them to drop prices. Even when I mentioned condo markets adjusting slightly, this adjustment is so small that you can't really recognize it. It's literally $5,000 on $300,000 condo. You can easily negotiate more than that if you find a motivated seller. So if you're thinking about waiting and timing the market, this is the worst thing you can do with real estate. And I'm not saying that because I'm a real estate agent and I want to have a transaction. I'm saying that because I can see it historically. Every year, someone is screaming, we're in a housing bubble and it's going to burst. In reality, it's not bursting and the prices continue going up because people need housing, people need shelter, and they're willing to spend that. This is the major necessity for a human being, having the roof above the head. Another common question I get from first-time home buyers is that interest rates are about to drop. And yes, Colin Powell announced another interest rate reduction in the nearest future. However, keep in mind that interest rates that government issues to banks, not in direct correlation of what interest rates we are getting from the banks as consumers. And I had a wonderful conversation with one of the nation banker and asked him where the interest rates are going after a significant drop in the past few months. And he said it's not going anywhere further down simply because banks already took that advantage of the upcoming interest rates. They try to motivate consumers to do the transaction, to enter into a deal so they can make money on it. So they already discounted the interest rates to the maximum they can, and they're waiting for that deduction to come along the way, which will come. And we might see another maybe like quarter point interest rate discount. However, if you would shop around and negotiate with the lender, you can still see that you can get this discount ahead of time without Feds reducing interest rates to the banks. Your relationship with banks doesn't necessarily mean that government relationship with the bank will be in direct correlation. In this video, I promised you to discuss the neighborhoods that are great for first-time home buyers, that are affordable, and that are safe. Yes, of course, if we will be talking about Miami Beach, it's very expensive and it's not affordable for the first-time home buyers. However, if you've been here for a few years, now you think like a local, and now you're thinking about areas that are convenient for the living, not necessarily tourist destinations that are pretty expensive. First neighborhood that comes to my mind is Miramar. Miramar, located west from Hollandale, it is a very safe and secure neighborhood with plenty of single-family homes. You can find a single-family home under $400,000, and you will be making payments, like I mentioned, under $3,000. So if it's a family of two and you have a kid and you need 3 bedrooms, I don't think you can find any lower monthly payment for a rental, and you own the space. You see the appreciation, and appreciation will come along the way. So Miramar is one of the wonderful neighborhoods that I would recommend. Another great neighborhood a little further west is Coral Springs. Coral Springs has great schools. They're 10 out of 10. One of my favorite schools in South Florida, to be honest. You're going to have your own mall. You're going to have ice dance so your kids can go ice skating or play hockey. Plenty of wonderful local restaurants. You will be paying less in insurance, which is a great plus for South Florida. And homes are also very, very affordable. If you're interested in learning more about Coral Springs, here is a video where I review Coral Springs in full. Click on the video, review this neighborhood, and come back here because I'll be talking about more neighborhoods. And the last neighborhood on my list that is very affordable for first-time home buyers is Hollywood. And yes, Hollywood is one of the largest municipalities in South Florida. However, it has very affordable areas along with very expensive. So consider Hollywood as an opportunity for you to buy your first home a little further west. And we all discussed that being next to the ocean might be pretty expensive for a first-time home buyer. However, if you're a little further west and willing to travel to the ocean for 15, 20, 30 minutes, then you can own your own home, your own condo or a house and still not break the bank. Now it's the story time. One of my clients decided to move to South Florida and he wanted to buy a condo right from the start. It was a very aggressive move. He never owned property before. He was moving from a rental elsewhere to South Florida and he wanted to buy a condo right away. We looked at many different options and his opinion that all these homes are overpriced and probably not worth buying. However, I was able to convince that it's not forever and prices are going up, and we were in this rapid price increase after the pandemic. After discussing in consideration, he agreed with me that it might be a good idea to buy a condo now and take advantage of these home appreciation prices. So he took my advice and we closed on the condo just a little over 2 years ago. I did home evaluation just a month ago before I recorded this video, and I found that he gained $200,000 in equity. What he can do with it? He can go back to the bank, ask for refinancing, ask for a line of credit, and use this money towards purchasing maybe another home, maybe a rental, or just sit on the equity and enjoy lower payments compared to what buyer would pay in current market. As a conclusion, I want to share with you that being on the fence and try to time the market might not be the best strategy for you. Remember, if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest, and we can make this work for you regardless of your financial situation. Reach out to me, let me know how I can help, what concerns you have. I'm sure I can find a solution for you. If you'd like to learn more about neighborhoods beyond just Coral Springs that I mentioned in this video, click on this link right here to learn about neighborhoods that I have already showcased on this channel. And don't forget to click the bell to get notification when I post more neighborhoods. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and comment below what concerns do you have about buying your first home in South Florida. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.